Your brain is leaking power right now, and you don't even know it. Every time someone pushes your buttons, every time you replay that stupid argument in your head, every time you feel that knot in your stomach because of someone else's opinion, that's energy hemorrhaging in real time. And here's what nobody tells you: of the stuff draining you isn't even real problems. It's noise, mental spam, emotional phishing attempts. But there's a way to shut it down completely. Stay until the end, because I'm about to show you how the smartest people protect their mental bandwidth like it's worth millions. Because it is. How to recognize when someone is stealing your mental space. The most expensive thing you own isn't your car or your house. It's your attention, and people are robbing you blind. Here's what most people miss. Energy theft doesn't look like theft. It looks like conversation. It looks like someone just wanting to talk. It looks like family dynamics or workplace culture. But underneath, it's the same pattern. Someone discovered they can get a reaction out of you, and now they're farming it like a resource. Think about it. How many hours have you lost this week replaying conversations that went nowhere? How many times did you feel physically exhausted after talking to certain people, even though you were just sitting down? That's not coincidence. That's extraction. They're mining your emotional bandwidth without paying rent. A study from the University of Michigan found that negative social interactions are 5 times more impactful on mental health than positive ones. Translation: one toxic conversation can erase the benefit of 5 good ones. That's a rigged game. You're playing emotional roulette where the house always wins. The real mindfuck is that most people think they're being engaged or caring when they're actually just being exploited. Someone dumps their drama, you process it, they feel better, you feel worse. That's not friendship. That's vampirism with a smile. And the worst part, you've been trained to think setting boundaries makes you selfish. It doesn't. It makes you solvent. Here's the pattern to watch for. When someone consistently leaves you feeling drained, confused, or defensive, that's not bad chemistry. That's bad software. They've installed a program in your head that runs in the background, consuming RAM even when they're not around. You're running their emotional operating system on your hardware. Smart people audit their social circle like investors audit portfolios. They ask, is this relationship generating value or just volatility? Is this person adding to my life or subtracting from my capacity? And when the math doesn't work, they cut losses fast. No guilt, no drama, just economics. The game changer is understanding that your mental state is prime real estate, and you've been letting anyone who knocks just walk in and rearrange the furniture. But once you realize you're the landlord, everything changes. You start charging rent. You start evicting bad tenants. You start being selective about who gets access. Awareness. Who's the energy vampire in your life right now? Hit that like button if this is landing. Why? Your emotional responses are being weaponized against you. Every time you react, you're teaching people exactly how to manipulate you. And they're taking notes. Human beings are pattern machines. We learn what works, and we repeat it. When someone discovers that a certain comment makes you defensive, a certain topic makes you angry, a certain tone makes you spiral, congratulations. They just found your exploit. And whether they're conscious of it or not, they're going to use it again. Because it works. This is where most people get it twisted. They think manipulation requires intent. It doesn't. It just requires results. If someone gets what they want by pushing your buttons, they'll keep pushing. It's operant conditioning. And you're the lab rat thinking you're in a debate. Research from Yale University shows that emotional reactivity creates predictable behavioral loops that others can exploit unconsciously. Basically, your reactions are training other people how to control you. Every time you blow up, every time you over-explain, every time you take the bait, you're reinforcing their strategy. The trap is thinking you're standing up for yourself when you're really just performing for an audience that doesn't care. You're spending energy defending a position to someone who isn't actually listening. They're just waiting for you to finish so they can reload. That's not dialogue. That's theater. And you're the only one who thinks the script matters. Here's what changes everything. The person who doesn't react has all the power. Because reaction is predictable. Calm is chaos. To manipulators, when you stop feeding the cycle, When you stop playing the game, when you simply observe without engaging, you become unreadable. And unreadable people can't be controlled. Think about poker. The player with the best poker face wins. Not because they have better cards, but because nobody can extract information from them. Your emotional neutrality is your poker face in life. Every time you give someone a reaction, you're showing your hand, and they're reading you like a book. The counterintuitive truth is that the less you engage with nonsense, the more respect you command. Not because people consciously respect boundaries, but because they unconsciously recognize strength. Someone who doesn't need to defend themselves has nothing to prove. And that's intimidating to people who live on drama. Your attention is currency. Stop giving it away for free. Control. What reaction are you going to stop feeding today? Subscribe and turn on notifications for more reality checks. What happens when you finally stop taking the bait? There's a moment when you realize you don't owe anyone an argument, and that moment changes everything. Most people are trapped in defensive mode. Someone criticizes them, they explain. Someone challenges them, they justify. Someone baits them, they bite. It's automatic. Stimulus, response. But here's the glitch in the matrix. You can just not. You can see the bait, acknowledge it's bait, and let it float past you untouched. The first time you do this, it feels wrong. Your whole system is screaming at you to respond, to correct, to defend. Because you've been conditioned to believe that silence equals agreement or weakness. It doesn't. Silence equals sovereignty. It means you're not playing a game where the only winning move is not to play. Practical framework. When someone throws emotional bait at you, pause for 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. This person genuinely curious or just looking for ammunition? 2. Will this conversation move anything forward or just burn time? 3. Will I care about this next week? If the answer to all 3 is no, you already know what to do. Nothing. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people who practice intentional non-response to provocations show significantly lower stress markers and higher cognitive performance. Translation: not engaging literally makes you smarter and healthier. You're not avoiding conflict, you're conserving resources. Second strategy: reduce surface area. In cybersecurity, reducing attack surface means limiting the points where someone can breach your system. Do the same emotionally. Stop oversharing. Stop over-explaining. Stop giving people data they can use against you. The less ammunition you hand out, the less you get shot with. Third move: create decision trees. If X happens, I do Y. If someone crosses boundary A, consequence B activates automatically. No thinking required, no emotional deliberation. You're running on protocol, not impulse. This removes the exhaustion of constant decision-making in heated moments. What's wild is that once you stop being reactive, people either level up their communication or they disappear. The ones who were just there for the drama leave. The ones who actually value you adjust. It's a filter that runs itself. You don't have to do anything except maintain the standard. Not engaging isn't passive. It's the most active choice you can make. Discipline. What boundary are you setting this week? Drop it in the comments and smash that like button. Why? Protecting your energy is the ultimate power move. The difference between people who build empires and people who barely survive. Energy management. That's it. You can have all the talent, all the knowledge, all the opportunity in the world, but if you're hemorrhaging energy on pointless battles, you're still going to lose. Because success isn't about who's smartest or who works hardest. It's about who preserves their bandwidth for what actually matters. And most people are bankrupt before they even start because they're spending emotional capital on worthless transactions. Every minute you spend arguing with someone who won't change their mind is a minute you're not building. Every hour you spend processing someone else's toxicity is an hour you're not creating. Every day you wake up already drained from yesterday's drama is a day you've lost before it started. This isn't motivation speech nonsense. This is pure math. Your energy is finite. Waste it, and you're done. Look at anyone operating at a high level in any field. Artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, scientists, they all have one thing in common. They're ruthlessly protective of their mental space. They don't have time for petty conflicts because they're too busy building something that matters. That's not arrogance. That's clarity. Research from Princeton University found that high performers share a common trait. They're exceptional at filtering out irrelevant stimuli. They don't process everything. They choose what deserves processing. And everything else? Background noise. You need to develop that same filter, or you'll drown in information you never needed. Here's the hard truth. Most things don't matter. Most arguments are pointless. Most opinions are irrelevant. Most provocations are just noise. And the moment you truly internalize that, you become unstoppable. Because you're no longer participating in the chaos. You're above it, building while everyone else is fighting. Final thought. Your legacy won't be defined by how many arguments you won. It'll be defined by what you created with the energy you saved. So the question isn't whether you can afford to protect your energy. The question is whether you can afford not to, because time's ticking, opportunities are moving, and the world doesn't wait for people who are too busy being offended to be effective. Install the firewall. Guard your bandwidth. Build something that outlasts the noise. Legacy. What are you building with your protected energy? Comment below. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that like button and subscribe for more content that cuts through the BS. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not replace professional mental health support when needed.